Hello, this is VTV News live at 3 p.m. local time. My name is Lena Pham, and here's what we have for the headlines at this hour. Belarus and Kyrgyzstan's National Assembly ratified the free trade agreement between the Euro-Asian Economic Union and Vietnam on May the 25th. A safe produce market was opened for the first time in Hanoi, held by the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. And the International Circus Festival 2016 opened on Saturday at Thừa Thiên Huế Sports Center. Huge opportunities await trade and investment between Vietnam and Russia after Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phuk's official visit to the country in May. The nation set a goal to raise two-way trade to $10 billion by 2020, a rise of 2.5 times the current number.
$300 million have been invested into the Russian Interdisciplinary Center for Technology to make the center a facility that provides high-tech applications for Hanoi's residents. The contract was signed by TNG Holdings Vietnam and the Russian Agency for State Property Management and was witnessed by the country's prime ministers in May.
The project highlights the friendship and economic cooperation between Vietnam and Russia. This cooperation is not limited to conventional sectors like oil and energy, but can be extended to other sectors too.
Many contracts were signed during Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phuk's recent visit to Russia, raising the number of Russian-funded projects in Vietnam to 114, with a total value of $2 billion. Vietnamese firms also invested nearly $3 billion in 19 projects in Russia.
For the first time, big private Vietnamese enterprises are interested in making investments in the Russia market. This is a good sign for enhancing links and comprehensive cooperation between the two countries' firms.
Despite economic difficulties for Russia in 2015, trade value between Russia and Vietnam still rose by 4% in 2015 and increased by 34% in the first quarter of 2016. Especially, Russian exports to Vietnam have nearly doubled. Both sides agreed that more efforts need to be made to facilitate bilateral trade.
Like what Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phúc said, there are still difficulties in economic cooperation despite the advantages of trade ties between the two countries in terms of product and market demand. These difficulties should be addressed by revising laws and regulations.
The Prime Ministers of the EAEU member countries, namely Vietnam, Russia, Belarus, Armenia, Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan, are planning a meeting to discuss the free trade agreement between Vietnam and other EAEU members in the coming days. The FTA, set to take effect in 2016, is expected to foster cooperation in trade and investment between Vietnam and Russia.
The House of Representatives of Belarus and Kyrgyzstan's National Assembly ratified the Free Trade Agreement, or FTA, between the Euro-Asian Economic Union, or EAEU, and Vietnam on May the 25th. The trade pact is expected to boost bilateral cooperation between members of the EAEU with Vietnam, helping their products make inroads to the country, which acts as a gateway to the Southeast Asian market. The EAEU, which consists of Russia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Armenia, and Kyrgyzstan, signed the FTA with Vietnam in May 2015. It was the first FTA signed between EAEU and an external partner. Previously, Russia and Kazakhstan ratified the trade pact, which will lift most tariffs on goods traded among its participants. The deal is expected to increase trade revenue between Vietnam and the EAEU to $10 billion in 2020. Recently, Vietnam opened the largest dairy production plant of its kind in Cambodia, worth $23 million. Vietnamese investment in Cambodia is expected to rise as the two countries have signed agreements that encourage and protect bilateral investment.
Since leading Vietnamese dairy producers, Vinamilk opened a milk production plant in Phnom Penh, Cambodia, consumers can enjoy domestically made products that meet international standards for the first time. It is estimated that the factories will produce 19 million liters of fresh milk and 200 boxes of powdered milk and yogurt per year.
I think the establishment of the dairy factory will not only improve economic ties between the two countries, but also bring important benefits to the physical and intellectual development of the Cambodian people.
In the past, Vietnam's investment in Cambodia was limited to the agriculture sector. However, in order to introduce a Vietnamese brand name to a foreign market, it is necessary to bring modern production technology there.
When we were seeking new markets, we discovered that there were no dairy plants in Cambodia. Therefore, we decided to build one here. Making dairy products to international standards in Cambodia is a very promising project.
With a population of 13 million people, Cambodia is a new attractive market for Vietnamese investors. Currently, Vietnam is the fifth largest investor in Cambodia, with a total capital of $3 billion. Investment is expected to increase rapidly in the near future.
As the U.S. Senate has supported the scrapping of the U.S. Department of Agriculture's catfish inspection program, Vietnam's Ministry of Industry and Trade has issued a statement welcoming the resolution. The statement once again affirmed that the catfish inspection program is not only unnecessary and not beneficial to American consumers, but also negatively affects economic relations between the two countries. The ministry hopes that the resolution will continue to receive approval from the House of Representatives and U.S. President Barack Obama. As we've covered before, a safe produce market was opened for the first time in Hanoi, held by the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. Here, many deals worth thousands of dollars have been signed, showing the high demand for safe agriculture in the Vietnamese market.
At the market, over 100 kiosks were set up to introduce safe produce to customers. Many deals have been signed here. A Korean company from Haizung Industrial Park has reportedly ordered $15,000 worth of produce a month for their 5,000 workers.
From past fairs, we've noticed the consumers' high demand for safe produce. Now we've opened this market so companies can serve their customers with VietGap qualified produce.
Unlike the Safe Agro Produce Week that is held occasionally to introduce these products to customers, the Safe Produce Market will be held twice a month at the end of the second and the last week, lasting for 3 days each.
With the Safe Produce Market, we are more in control of our produce now. Since we know when the market will open, we can prepare.
For the market to become a popular destination for customers, both sellers and buyers want tight regulations to remain so that the produce sold here will stay truly green and safe.
When the Châu Thành Longan Cooperative shifted its first 100 metric tons of longan to the U.S. last year, it offered a promising scenario for fruit and vegetable exports. The cooperative exported another 100 metric tons in just 5 months of the year, while the sales price rose from $1.7 to $1.9 per kilo. In other good news, the cooperative transported 20 metric tons of lemons and longan to the JAIR company in the Republic of Korea from January through May. Lavi Food sold around 1,000 metric tons of frozen fruit to the U.S. and the Republic of Korea combined in the first 5 months. Meanwhile, the Vietnam Fruit and Vegetable Association, or VinaFruit, is also reporting strong growth in produce exports in the early months of the year, driven by particularly high sales to the U.S. and South Korea markets. Starting from May the 1st, the minimum wage for people working in state-owned enterprises will increase by 60,000 Vietnam dong or $3 per month, rising from 1,150,000 Vietnam dong to 1,210,000 Vietnam dong per month. This new minimum wage has been calculated based on the consumer price index and growth rate of the economy. For rural areas that struggle to raise the minimum wage, the government will cover the gap with part of the state budget. Coming up next on VTV News, the International Circus Festival 2016 opened on Saturday at Thừa Thiên Huế Sports Center. And later on, Mộc Châu welcomes tourists to 2016 Plum Festival. Stay tuned.
Exotic Vietnam is an intriguing blend of many charms. This land is where all manner of stunning landscapes await like a visual feast, rivaled only by the beauty of its people and their abundantly rich tradition and culture. Here is where you can relive the past in richest color or live it up in the bright lights of the big city. With so much more to offer, Vietnam is simply unforgettable.
Welcome back to VTV News. 70 of the best works by the National External Information Service Awards 2015 were honored at a ceremony in Hanoi on May the 28th. This is the second time the awards have been organized by the Party Central Committee's Information and Education Commission and the Central Steering Committee for External Information Services. More to follow.
Car au Vietnam, sur le terrain, 4 forces armées s'affrontent, réparties en 2 camps.
This is a documentary by French director Daniel Russell called Vietnam War, at the heart of secret negotiations. One of 6 first prize winners, this film shows the contribution of diplomacy to Vietnam's victory.
There were 737 entries this year, an on-year increase of 42%. The quality has increased significantly. We also received entries from international press and media agencies.
And it was a great surprise to have received the notice that we had to come here to receive a prize. So that means that what we are doing in a way is okay, and that's very encouraging for us to continue working and doing our work the way we should, which is basically reporting on what is happening in Vietnam.
This is the second time the awards have been organized, looking to encourage journalists to contribute to the External Information Service.
The challenge of our External Information Service is that we must deliver information accurately and timely. Our audience is global, so we have to try hard to find creative ways to tell stories. This is also a motivation for us to make our work better.
Outstanding works among the prize-winning entries will be selected to be published in foreign languages for external information work. It was revealed at the event that the award next year will receive entries with a wider range of categories, so the event can welcome even more work.
The average spending of a Vietnamese for healthcare is around $102.5 per year. According to the World Health Organization, this is equal to 6.6% of Vietnam's GDP, leading the Southeast Asia on spending on medical care. This ratio is even higher than other developed countries such as Russia, Taiwan or China. Meanwhile, Thai people spend around 3.9% of their annual income on medical care, while Singapore spends 4.7% of the GDP for medical care. Creating a non-smoking environment has long been considered important for Vietnam, but this model has been put into place in just a handful of localities nationwide. The law on prevention and control of tobacco harm banned smoking in public places 3 years ago, but a non-smoking environment is still a challenge. Let's take a closer look at their following report.
Local resident in Quang Ngai province.
I smoke about 20 cigarettes per day. Where do you often smoke? In public places.
The public place that Quân mentioned is a park. Many people come to these places to relax and enjoy the cool atmosphere, but they are met with clouds of smoke instead. This man is smoking while waiting for his bus. Women and children beside him are breathing in his smoke. These acts of smoking in public places will be fined 100 to 300,000 Vietnamese dong.
This is a really bad habit. People just smoke, but don't think about others.
Even in these public places, there isn't a no smoking sign. Information about the bad effects of tobacco is still weak, and the penalties are unclear.
If someone violates the law on prevention and control of tobacco, they will be fined a small amount of money. That doesn't work well.
Vietnam is among 15 countries with the highest rate of smokers in the world. 33 million people are passive smokers. The need to create a non-smoking environment has become more important for the whole community.
So far, there's been good progress in policy development at a relatively high level. The challenges, of course, now are in making sure that policy is implemented at the local level.
It's obvious that non-smokers must first raise their voices against smoking in public places. A non-smoking environment can help reduce the numbers of people who die daily because of tobacco.
The National Action Month for Children was launched at a ceremony held in the northern coastal city of Hạ Long in Quảng Ninh province on May the 28th. Under the theme, A Safe Life, Accident and Injury Prevention for Children, the campaign aims to spread messages that will help prevent incidents and injuries to ensure a safe summer for children. Addressing the ceremony, State Vice President Đặng Thị Ngọc Thịnh noted that communication should be enhanced to improve society's awareness about facilitating safe environments for children. She urged schools and organizations to actively educate both adults and children on accident and injury prevention. The International Circus Festival 2016 opened on Saturday at Thừa Thiên Huế Sports Center. Until June 4th, audiences in Huế will have a chance to enjoy the unique repertoire of 6 circus troupes from Cambodia, Laos, Malaysia, Ukraine, Thailand, China, and 5 local troupes from Vietnam.
This is the opening circus performance of the Vietnam Circus Federation called Tumbling on Pole. This is just one of the adventurous feats of the troupe performs.
All the performances in the festival were put together with a lot of training and practice to give audiences the most exciting experience.
Lao artists also brought many spectacular performances to the festival, most notably Girl with Roses.
I'm very happy to perform in Vietnam. The audience here is motivating and encouraging for us.
70 artists from different countries will showcase the essence of circus art with over 30 items spanning in many different categories, including acrobatics, juggling, balancing, circus clown, and magic.
Mộc Châu is vibrant and bustling with thousands of tourists. Preparation for the 2016 Plum Festival have been completed, and the region is ready for visitors to enjoy its mountains and interesting agriculture.
Hoàng Thị Ngân's family came 2 days before the festival to experience Mộc Châu. Her family is very excited to be able to hand-pick plums. It is a summer memory they will not soon forget.
I feel very happy and excited standing in this beautiful scenery and picking these yummy fruits.
According to the organizers, this is the 3rd plum picking festival held on a large scale. The month's activities include plum picking, ethnic games, camping, exhibitions, and cultural exchange. The highlight of the festival is the plum picking and eating competition, with 12 teams, 100 members and thousands of tourists.
To date, All the preparations are finished to welcome visitors. The plum is Mộc Châu specialty fruit. It not only brings economic value, but also attracts tourists. I hope there will be more investors interested in Mộc Châu.
In recent years, agricultural tourism has grown popular. The lush plum valley and the cool, fresh air of the plateau attract more than 800,000 tourists each year to Mộc Châu. The Mộc Châu Plum Festival will be held in the Naga area of Mộc Châu Farm Town. Visitors will have the opportunity to handpick their own plums and enjoy the fruit for free.
Chiếc thìa vàng, or the Golden Spoon competition, which seeks the country's best chefs and dishes, was launched in the southern province of Bình Dương on May the 26th, with the theme Hương vị quê nhà, hành trình gia vị Việt, or Homeland Tastes, Journey of Vietnamese Spices. The contest is taking place in Hanoi, Ho Chi Minh City, and Da Nang. The semi-final rounds in the north and the south are scheduled to take place in Hanoi on October the 11th and the 12th, and Ho Chi Minh City on October the 25th to the 27th. The final round will be held in Ho Chi Minh City on December the 6th to the 7th. Let's review the highlights of what happened during the past week in our Week in Review segment.
US President Barack Obama arrived in Vietnam on Monday for a three-day official visit. During his visit, President Barack Obama held talks with Vietnamese State President Trần Đại Quang. At the talk, the two sides agreed to support the ratification of the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, implementation of the Paris Agreement on climate change. The US would help residents in the Mekong Delta cope with the effects of climate change and supports Vietnam with peacekeeping activities. After the reception, the two leaders chaired an international press conference where US President announced that the US was lifting the arms embargo on Vietnam.
And I can also announce that the United States is fully lifting the ban on the sale of military equipment to Vietnam that has been in place for some 50 years.
Vietnam very much appreciates the U.S. decision to completely lift the ban on lethal weapon sales to Vietnam, which is the clear proof that both countries have completely normalized relations.
State President Trần Đại Quang also said that both countries agreed to enhance the in-depth comprehensive partnership with a priority given to cooperation on development and to address the aftermath of the American War.
During his visit, U.S. President was also received by Party General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng, Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phúc, and National Assembly's Chairwoman Nguyễn Thị Kim Ngân. The United States and Vietnam adopted a joint statement on these occasions. Both sides noted with satisfaction the rapid, substantive, and comprehensive growth of the U.S.-Vietnam relations over the past year. Also on this occasion, the U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry on Wednesday officially announced the foundations of the Fulbright University Vietnam. Fulbright University Vietnam, the first American-style private universities in Ho Chi Minh City, will be operational from September this year.
Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phúc on Friday for the first time attended the expanded G7 summit held in the Ise Shima of Japan. The Prime Minister affirms that Vietnam, together with other ASEAN countries, praised the G7 for its voice in supporting security, maritime and air freedom, as well as resolving issues by peaceful measures complying with international laws. He expressed hopes that the members of G7 would continue contributing to the consolidation of peace and stability in the Asia-Pacific region and in the world. Highlighting the cooperation on the Mekong River, the Prime Minister expressed appreciation for Japan's initiative in connecting the Mekong Delta region with their country and applauded the support for the G7 in helping the development of this region. Prime Minister Phuc also reiterated that Vietnam would implement all agreements achieved at COP21 recently held in Paris.
Previously, on Thursday, Vietnam Prime Minister attended the Japan-Vietnam High-Level Economic Policy Dialogue in Japan. He highlighted the importance of foreign firms to the economy. He added that Vietnam was keen to encourage Japanese firms to invest in various fields, including electronics, agriculture, and shipbuilding.
Vietnam has attracted more than $10 billion of foreign direct investment, otherwise called FDI, in the first 5 months of this year, up nearly 140% compared to the same period last year, according to the Ministry of Planning and Investment. The Republic of Korea remains the top investor among 60 countries and territories by committing $3.4 billion. Luxembourg came in second, followed by Singapore. Manufacturing and processing continued to be the top sectors, accounting for 65% of registered funds.
Over 4 million tourists have visited Vietnam so far this year, up 20% on year. In May alone, Vietnam welcomed some 750,000 foreign visitors, a rise of over 30% compared to the same period last year, the Vietnam Administration of Tourism revealed on Thursday. A surge was unsurprisingly seen in the number of visitors coming from countries enjoying visa exemptions, with Italy up some 30%, the UK and Spain up more than 20%, while Germany and France increased by some 15%.
Now let's take a look at the weather updates. And that's all we have for this edition of VTV News. Thank you very much for being with us. Feel free to log on to vtv4.vn or youtube.com/vtv4go for other updates. I'm Lina Pham from VTV International. For now, goodbye from Hanoi.